Hey everybody, and welcome to Web3 Wednesday. I'm Shelly Palmer, and it is a gorgeous day here in Midtown Manhattan. I was just out for an awesome walk, and I'm back, and welcome everybody. As you know, Web3 Wednesdays chat's where it is at, so please say hi in chats. Tell me who you are, tell me where you are, tell each other what you do, and of course you guys should have a very robust conversation, as you always do in chat. So much to cover today. I want to jump right in. There's as you all know, we have a Discord server. It's discord.gg/Shelly Palmer. You want to go there. The conversations we start today are always going on Discord, and I know a lot of you have had some issues getting into Discord and using it, and it feels confusing. Just dive in feet first and jump in feet first. You gotta dive in feet first. Jump in feet first and see how that all goes. It'll be fun. Of course, it is Web3 Wednesday. So we have a brand new POAP for Web3 Wednesday. POAP, proof of attendance protocol tokens, POAP, proof of attendance protocol tokens. If you collect 5 of them, you will get all kinds of fun things. These are NFTs. They have no cost to you. You can mint them either by inputting your wallet, your public key, or you can use your email address. You don't even need a wallet to collect POAPs, so you can view them at the POAP site if you want to. The nice thing is if you collect up to 5 of them, and we will know because we keep tabs on this sort of thing, you'll be invited to our salon dinners and some user experiences, live experiences at CES, Mobile World Congress, South by Southwest, a bunch of the major trade shows that we attend, and we also do some dinners and stuff, fun stuff at various times during the year in Chicago, in Los Angeles, in Florida as well. We're planning one in Miami in April at the Possible Conference. It's going to be really fun. So we'll do something at CES coming up, and there's a couple other interesting events that'll be happening towards the end of the year. So collect 5 and get into the thing. Welcome everybody. Wow, look at this crowd today. David Goldsmith and Frank Quinn, Fernando Oliveira. Yeah, nice to see you. Elaine, Bogart, Todd. Fantastic that all you guys are here. Jason, Joey, Donald, David Shamlotz, great to have you all. Thank you all for being here. All right, jumping right in. So get your POAP. I'll bring this back up towards the end as well. Minecraft. I already got a question about Minecraft. Wait, I want to put my question up. Hold on. Wait. Last week you wrote about Minecraft, blogging NFTs. What's up with that? See, you guys are mind reading. That was my first story today. That's amazing. Okay, Minecraft bans blockchain technology. Last week, for reasons that are very obvious, Minecraft decided they're not going to allow NFTs third-party NFTs to get involved with Minecraft. And my suspicion is they're not going to do any of their own either. This is so crazy to me. I'm not because they shouldn't do it. It's okay if they're scared of it, but they really shouldn't be shooting down the tech. We don't really know where any of this is going to go. We just know it's interesting and it's new. And while I could understand them not wanting willy-nilly NFTs that potentially would harm their brand, okay, the defense against that is to do it yourself. Get out there right now and start. So what was really funny about that is the next day, literally the next day, the guys at Epic just said, hey, we're not going to block Minecraft, or rather NFTs. We're going right for it. We don't know what Minecraft is thinking. That's nuts. So yeah, it's not a big controversy in any way. It's not controversial. It's just, I think it's super unfortunate that we've got a bunch of different kinds of organizations that each one is, some are scared, some are trepidatious. I understand not understanding. I don't think anyone fully understands this tech, but wow, just banning stuff outright. Technology is neither good nor bad. That's for people. People are good and bad. Tech is tech. And while there probably are some technologies that were created specifically and only to do harm, NFTs aren't on that list. So yeah, they're smart contracts, and smart contracts are cool things to play with, and you should play with them if you can. Wow, nice crowd. Thank you so much for getting chat. So excited about that. Your 5th POAP today, Leslie. That's amazing. Yeah. Oh, 6 today. Yeah, 5. A lot of you have really embraced the POAP thing, and I appreciate that very much. What I want you to do is go to shellypalmer.com/blockchain. New resources are there. Everybody who's here today knows I have a book on this subject, but you know that page is filled with other resources. Our database is added to every day. We've got our crypto resource database or our Web3 resource database. You'll find all kinds of information and resources there, things you can do and things you can learn and things you can play with. And it's a good place to go. All right. My favorite story. Oh, by the way, just put your questions into chat, and Joey will put them into the little tool set that we use to get them up on the screen. Like, for example, here's one that just came in here. Thank you, Robert M. Saw you at MMA last week. The POAP was interesting. Do you do them for everything? So, yeah, obviously that's yes, we do. We do POAPs for everything. All right, my favorite story of this past week has to be NFTiffs. This is a $50,000 NFT. Now, you don't need to own a CryptoPunk to buy an NFTiff, but it would really help, because what you're actually buying, again, is not an NFT in the vernacular. What you're buying is a pendant that is bejeweled in a Tiffany box that is, in this case, a replica of your CryptoPunk. You are also getting its digital twin of this pendant, and you are getting an NFT or smart contract on a public blockchain that says you own this. So they have accessorized 250 of the 10,000 CryptoPunks. People were all over this. It's crazy expensive. It's $50,000 for an NFT. This is nuts. And it's not nuts. It's a new way to tell stories, and this is a new way to accessorize. Oh, thank you. Who is this? Jody R. Ha! Tulips. Okay, maybe. It might be tulips. It's entirely possible this is tulips. But I love this for so many reasons. First of all, you had a CryptoPunk. You're looking in the range of $125,000, and they've been up as high as $1 million. These are very expensive. They're all only available in the secondary market, and you have to have bought into NFT culture. You have to have bought into everything there is to buy into, and whether it's tulips or not, Jody R., I can't tell you, but you are already hip deep into NFTs, seriously hip deep into NFTs, if you are buying a CryptoPunk. So the idea that Tiffany is saying, of the rarefied humans who have $125,000 and up, to invest in a club, culture, story, ecosystem, call it what you will, community of passion, community of practice, community of interest around CryptoPunks. We're going to carve out the 250 people of that 10,000 that would like to purchase an accessory that is physical. So, show and tell. You got to tell us your name, because otherwise I'm just going to call you Show and Tell. Says, is it Phygital? Phygital. Phygital? I guess that's, would you put an S in there? Phys? Phygital? I don't know. It's physical and digital, right? In this case, you've got the physical embodiment, which is this pendant. You've got its digital twin. And you have an NFT that says you own this, and at the moment you're into it for 50 grand. On top of your 125,000 to how much money you ever possibly spent on your CryptoPunk. What's happening here? What is this? Well, the next day, right afterwards, the very next day, there was this massive increase in trading volume on CryptoPunks, like the next day. And it was up hundreds of percent. And while the pricing is based on the cost of crypto, you have to understand that there is a culture of people who are experimenting with digital storytelling, who are experimenting with this intersection of our digital and physical world. Is this the right way to do it? Is this a good program? Is this a bad program? What? I don't know. And neither do you. And neither, oddly enough, does anybody else. What we do know is that Tiffany's took a bold, giant at bat. They swung hard, and apparently they hit it out of the park. Love where this is, love where it's going, have no idea if this is a great idea or a terrible idea. What I do know is that they have done an amazing job, a truly amazing job at capturing the imaginations. They priced it at a place where, I gotta say, it's heavily priced. Should it have been 25 grand? I think if you study pricing, you will know for a fact that for someone who's got $1 million worth of NFT, the difference between 25 and 50 grand, it's probably better at 50,000 because it actually makes it more exclusive. And Tiffany it's a luxury brand. Show and tell is Peter. Peter, thank you for telling me your name. I appreciate it. I see the chat is super active, guys. Thank you for this. You got to tell each other what you do. You got to tell each other where you are. I can see people are everywhere. And Steve Catola, tulips are pretty funny. But please, you guys chat amongst yourselves. And if you have any questions whatsoever, every Wednesday is an Ask Me Anything Wednesday. So, yeah, please ask me anything. On the subject of Ask Me Anything, we, as everybody here knows, I can see the names are always the regulars. But if you haven't done MedAcademy yet at medacademy.com, this is free and risk-free. There's absolutely no cost and there's absolutely no risk. What will you learn? You'll learn to install a wallet. You'll fill it with test ETH. You will learn all about the various kinds of cryptocurrencies. You will learn how to read metadata and how to mint your first NFT. You will then learn more about metadata, and in the spirit of CryptoPunks and Bored Ape Yacht Club, you'll learn to create a generative NFT and understand how to read about rarity in their attributes. All along the way, you'll earn badges, and ultimately you will earn a completion certificate, which will make you crypto and NFT certified, really. I mean, you'll really have a solid, deep understanding. We're going to formalize this with like 100-question test that people will be able to take at the end. But you do take quizzes all the way along. And when you come out of this, I think you're going to find yourself in a good place. It's completely free. It's completely free of charge. There's no advertising on it. It's one of the most low-key sites you're ever going to go to. It's just like a learning management system that's just open to everybody. So please share it with your friends. Do it yourself. If you have started and stopped, I'd love to know why. And it's in public beta. I mean, it's fairly complete. There are 14 sections at MedAcademy, and each one is short and concise and to the point, but we're always trying to make it better, and we're trying to keep it up to date. So if you see something or you believe something should be changed, or if you got bored, or please share with us, because we're trying to learn every day. Moving on, let's see. The SEC versus the CFTC, which is the commodities regulators, and versus crypto. So this is super important to all of us. There is a little, we know for a fact, we know regulation is coming. And we don't know what it's going to look like, but we know regulation is coming. The SEC charged 11 people with a $300 million crypto Ponzi scheme last week, and they're trying to assert their ability to enforce. It's sort of like regulation by enforcement. The CFTC is fighting with them a little bit to see who wins. The CFTC is the Commodity Future Trading Commission, and the SEC is the Securities and Exchange Commission. So the only thing I could think of is back in the day, there was a lawsuit about derivatives. Who would have control of that regulation, the SEC or the CFTC? And they ended up sharing it, and my guess is this is what's going to happen in crypto. We have to watch this carefully. But while I was researching this, while I was seeing this whole thing go down, while all of this was happening, I was watching carefully some of the banter back and forth. And I think what fascinated me the most, one of the CFTC commissioners is a woman named Caroline Pham, and she has written, it's at shellypalmer.com, she's written or I guess she gave a speech, and the text of her speech is on the CFTC website. So if you Google Carolyn Pham and her proposal for crypto regulation, she cited 10 specific areas that they believe should be regulated. And I got to tell you, reading them over, I agree. The devil's in the details. But as an overarching framework for how the government might approach regulation of cryptocurrency, NFTs, and all things DeFi, this was pretty interesting to me. And you will, I think you'll enjoy reading it. Now, you may completely disagree that this is a good framework. You may think it's nonsense. One way or the other, I think you should write to Caroline Pham and let her know, and all the other CFTC commissioners, and truthfully the SEC as well. There's no reason not to. We're so political in quotes, but I think we're less political than we should be. This is someplace where those of you who really understand this, or who are seeking to understand it, or do clearly understand this, have an opinion. Well, these are our elected and appointed officials who are running the government, who are very likely to be the authors and architects of the regulatory environment that we have to live in. So I think it's important for everybody here to jump on this and jump on it hard and like say, hey, this is what we think. I liked these particular 10 points. And while I didn't like everything about all 10 points, I was pretty happy with the thoroughness. I think what it demonstrated the most is that Caroline Pham deeply understands what this is. And I think she understands policy making. I'm glad she's a commissioner because she seems incredibly qualified to do so. I don't know her. I'm going to try and meet her at some point. So yeah, this is it's just a really interesting time. Stephen Sobel's asking a very, very good question. Joey put it up in the thing, and I'm going to do this one. This is an important question, and I'm going to try to answer it. And while I'm getting ready to answer it, I'm going to put up a shameless promo for Techstream. Every Tuesday we drop a new Techstream. It is with Shelly Palmer and Seth Everett. Seth is awesome. I have a lot of fun with Seth. We talk about pop culture and tech and where they merge. It's just a good fun convo every week. It's about a half hour long. It's wherever you get your podcasts. You will truly enjoy it. I enjoy making it. Seth enjoys making it, and I think that fun comes through. So yeah, come on, just come join us at Techstream, wherever your podcasts are found. Apple. Oh, we're on Amazon now too. You can get it from Amazon Podcasts, which is fun. Spotify, Apple, Google Play. We're all there. Yeah. So okay, this question. I like this question. Let's put this one up. Stephen Sobel asks, how can a non-fungible token be a commodity? And the answer to this is I'm not sure that it can, but they're talking about overarching crypto regulation. Now, the regulation of a smart contract, that to me seems out of their jurisdiction and more under normal the legal statutes that govern regular contracts. Remember, a smart contract is exactly like a normal contract. The only difference is that when the terms and conditions of a smart contract are met, the contract executes automatically. And so I'm not sure that this has anything to do with futures other than a futures contract, right? So there may be some path, intellectual path, or framework path to saying, okay, I am CFTC, I can regulate this contract for future value. But I'm not sure that every NFT is done that way. In fact, I'm sure they aren't. So this is open for discussion, which is why I am begging everybody, get involved. Get into this right now. These are just people, and they are tasked with regulating our future, financial future. They are also going to try and carve out the biggest role for the government they can, not because they're Democrats or Republicans, simply because the government, rightly so, is scared to its core by the existence of digital assets and specifically cryptocurrencies for every good reason you can imagine. So yeah, they're going to be all over this. You should be too. You should be too. By the way, I keep putting up my Twitter handle, @ShellyPalmer. Personal favor asked from everybody watching. I see a whole bunch of you are here. Do me a favor. Everybody, just for fun, tweet something. I don't care if it's positive or negative. Just tweet something to @ShellyPalmer. Take a screenshot. I just need to see Twitter function. Twitter is like the most enigmatic, weirdest thing. And I've been writing about Twitter a lot, and we just can't seem to get our crowd to get deep into Twitter. So right now, just for fun, everybody, stop your YouTube chatting for a second, open up your Twitter account, and just do an @Shelly Palmer tweet. Just asking. We'll see if we can get it done. That'd be fun to see. All right, moving on. I have been... Oh, here's the question of the day, and I got pictures here. Someone's read my mind. Where is this thing? Where is this? Harry C. This is perfect, Harry C. I'm putting this up. Oh, wait. No, I didn't get it. Hold on, let's get it. This is Harry C. Why are you obsessed with Kim and Kylie? Harry, I'm not. I'm not in any way. I'm taking that off now. I'm not in any way. I'll put my thing back on him there. Twitter, folks. I'm not in any way obsessed with Kim and Kylie, but this goes back now a couple weeks. So, yeah, as you remember, Meta, the company formerly known as Facebook, rejiggered the UX for the user interface and user experience at Instagram and Facebook, going right after TikTok. Scared to death that TikTok is eating their lunch, and TikTok is eating their lunch. TikTok in January became the most visited website on the internet, and if you're a media company or a social media company, you have got to be shaking in your boots. That's an amazing statistic that that TikTok is now the most visited website on the internet. So wow, okay, they redesigned. I guess under the direction of his Zuckerness, they redesigned Instagram and Facebook to go right after TikTok. Well, apparently, Kim Kardashian and Kylie Jenner were not thrilled with this particular revelation in the hallowed halls of Meta, and they were pretty sad about it. And so I wrote about how much everybody disliked it, because they disliked it. It was that simple. Well, the next day after that, the thing is starting to heat up, and then by 3 days later, I think it was first on a Tuesday that I wrote about it, and by Friday, this thing was a serious story. By Friday, the Kardashians had been so vocal that Adam Mosseri, keen executive with his thumb or his finger on the pulse of pop culture, walked the cat back. And they, okay, we're just kidding. Sorry, Kim. Sorry, Kylie. We're not going to do it. Inside this particular episode of corporate cowardice, and also great admission that they had not done their homework in any meaningful way, some crazy typos came out. So let's just talk about this in a sequence, and then you'll understand my obsession this week with Kim and Kylie. So, in all seriousness, before we get into this, if you and I want to do proprietary research about an interface change or some corporate change, if we just decide we're going to change something, we're going to have a hypothesis that's testable. Well, if we change this and change that, X, we expect this to happen or that to happen. We're going to design an experiment to test the hypothesis. We're going to choose our subjects very carefully. We're going to carve out a control group. We're going to find test subjects. And then we're going to test our science to see if we're right or wrong. And what are we going to expect? We're going to expect to lose a certain number of people because they don't like the interface and they'll be so mad or sad about it that they'll just go away. We're going to expect to have people displeased, but they'll get over it. Some spectrum of those, to like mildly amused by it, to wow, this is cool, to wow, this is way better, right? This entire spectrum is what we're going to expect, and we're going to expect a normal distribution of that. And based on where that lands, we're going to say, we are eyeing the future. We really think we need a redesign. We really think we need to freshen up. We understand the only people who like change are babies in wet diapers. Let's go ahead and do it. And we will spend months doing this, probably, if it's normal people like us. And we are going to spend an awful lot of money making this true, because it is hard to do proprietary research, and you want to be thorough if you're going to make a change that can have real bottom line impact. If something's going to change either your revenue or your expense line, especially if you're going to make an investment like a big UX change or UI change, then think about it. If you're Facebook, if you're Instagram, if you're WhatsApp, if you're owned by Meta, You can do market research with tens of millions of subjects before lunch and not in any way impact anything except how people feel about you before lunch, and they will forget about it after lunch. You can know more about what people are going to do. You can cluster and classify people in ways that mortals like us can only dream about. Anyone who has ever tried to do any predictive mathematics, anyone who's ever tried to optimize or simulate has got to know how hard this is for us and how easy it is for them. So imagine my surprise that Kim and Kylie were able to get these guys to walk the cat back in one day, basically. Hi, we don't like this. Now, what did they say? This is the part that gets fun, really fun. They, Kim and Kylie, they said, supposedly, I'm going to read this. I want to just find the quote. They said, you are going to stop trying to make TikTok. I'm sorry, stop trying to be TikTok. I just want to see cute photos of my friends. But there is a problem with this quote. Stop trying to be TikTok. I just want to see cute photos of my friends. And the problem was that on CNBC, the main organization that put this out, the author wrote strop, S-T-R-O-P, as opposed to stop. And it you know, here it is. This is the CNBC article, stop trying to be TikTok. I just want to see cute photos of my friends. So I was about to write a super, super, super snarky, you know, Kim and Kylie can't spell, and how could these people who can't spell have like so much influence over Instagram and specifically over the Meta empire? I mean, how could the evil empire get this right? Be scared of this from people who can't spell. And I kept searching and searching. All I found were copies of this thing everywhere. What I didn't find was the original, until I did find the original. The original is not something you can cut and paste. The original is an image on change.org. That's an image. It's not something you can select, cut and paste, or copy and paste. You can only right-click and download the image. That's all you can do. So this had to be a typo, an original typo at CNBC. We reached out to the author of the article. They instantly went, oops, oh, sorry, that is a typo. If you Google strop trying to be TikTok, you will find hundreds of copies of this. This is the most interesting little DNA evidence of cut and paste misinformation. If someone decided to take Kylie and Kim to task for being illiterate because they can't spell the word strop, and TikTok is in all lowercase, and it's like, wow, what would stop that? I don't know. This really bothered me. I just thought it was a really good example of how information propagates throughout the internet. This is all chronicled at shellypalmer.com, and it was my weekend blog post, and now I've been mostly writing about Web3 and cryptocurrency and NFTs and all things decentralized finance. But this one really caught me because it's so easy to find who just cut and paste, who are the real journalists and who are the, I want to call it, posers. Now, way back in June of 21, still on the Kim and Kylie thing, Kim makes a post. And this is the post she does on Instagram. I hope you can read it. This was shilling a cryptocurrency, complete scam crypto called EMAX. EMAX is trading for like a billionth of a penny on Coinbase or something right now. It's a non-currency. Well, 9 of the investors who were stupid enough to purchase it sued Kim and a couple other celebs who shilled this thing back in January of 22, and the lawsuit right now is coming to a head, and they're going to go to court right now. Now, if you look at this, it starts out by saying this is not financial advice. The bottom of every Shelly Palmer email, every MetaCademy email that we do in our newsletter, we have a whole, this is not financial advice, if it's inherently risky, whatever the boilerplate is. Now, there's no boilerplate here. This is simply, she starts out not financial advice, but my friends, who are into crypto tell me this is cool. Is that enough of a disclaimer? We're going to test this right now. I hope it's enough of a disclaimer, because while I am not a Kim fan or a Kylie fan or a fan of scams, or I know she gets hundreds of thousands of dollars for any given tweet, and that's her business. She's an influencer and a social seller, and that's what she does. Here, this is disclaimed. And while I have no particular dog in the hunt, I am very interested in what a legal disclaimer is supposed to be. So barring any technical problems with the trial or poor lawyering, we can learn an awful lot from this trial. So I think we should all watch it carefully, because all of us nowadays have a duty to disclaim things where people might act on our advice without doing their own homework, without doing their own due diligence, without thinking for themselves. I hate to say it. And then when stuff doesn't work out, are you going to get sued? That's a really interesting question. When stuff doesn't work out, are you going to get sued? I think that if you look through this and you go through this whole misinformation issue, this becomes really quite something. Once again, if you are thinking about hanging out with us and coming to all the stuff we do, this is how you get your POAP. POAPs are fun. Proof of Attendance Protocol tokens. They are free. They have no cost whatsoever, and you will have a lot of fun getting them. And when you get them, we will be able to redeem them for all kinds of fun stuff. And just one more time, just for everybody, you just go to Med Academy if you want to go, and you get a chance to learn some stuff. So let's get some questions here. I see this is a very robust set of questions. Let's get this question up here and see what we can do. I'm going to put myself back on the screen, and let's get this queue up here. Oh, wow, I can't really read it. Hold on. Well, let's put this where I can read it. Have you heard about Solana wallet being compromised this morning, affecting Slope, Phantom, all that stuff? Trust, yeah, there are rumors more than 7K wallets have been hacked. I saw that too. I don't know anything more about it than what I've seen in the news, and we are, I think all of us, Jake, waiting to see if this is true or not true, and how bad the situation is. This would be really bad for Solana. For all the obvious reasons, but it would be really bad for the whole industry. You don't want to see this happen to anyone for any reason. Now, will we see, this is from Jake. Oh, sorry, Fernando, that was your question. Jake, the question is, will we see Federal Reserve create a central bank digital currency as a means of regulation? Oh, wow, that's interesting. Will we see it as a form of regulation? Well, we're waiting for Janet Yellen to write a paper about CBDCs in the United States. My guess is, in order of appearance, we're going to see some regulation around stablecoins, most likely from the SEC, most likely. Although this regulation may be penned in cooperation, probably will be, with Treasury and maybe even the CFTC, just because this is all kind of part and parcel to how things are traded. You must have a way to turn your cryptocurrency back into fiat currency unless the cryptocurrency is an accepted exchange of value. Remember, from a money perspective, method of account, method of exchange, store of value. Those are the three things you have to have in a currency. So if I can go into a store and I can spend ETH, or I can spend DOT, or I can spend SOL, or I can spend Matic, then I don't ever need to make I never need to make fiat currency out of it. But until I'm at a point where I can go into a store or go to an online e-commerce site and exchange value in a reasonably easy way with someone else, the only way for me to realize the gains and or to use my cryptocurrency, other than to buy or exchange with other cryptocurrency or buy digital assets, or stay in the digital world, the only way for me to take that money out and use it to buy food, to pay my rent at the moment, is to exchange it for fiat currency. And the way you do that is you go get a stable coin, and then that stable coin becomes US dollars. That's the way it's done now. And a lot of the derivatives, derivative financial products, a lot of the liquidity pools, a lot of the yield farms leverage loans against stable coins or require stable coins to function. Once we've got stable coins safe, really safe and regulated, which I can't imagine is going to take much longer than the end of the year, but maybe it will. The next thing we're going to see, China's already got one, it's the digital yuan. Are we going to see a United States stablecoin, a real US dollar US dollar CBDC, central bank digital currency, coming out of Treasury? Maybe. They do think that some people believe it's more efficient than the SWIFT system. What it is it requires less middle people than the SWIFT system does. There's nothing broken about the SWIFT system. It works pretty good. If you've ever wired money anywhere, you know it takes a minute, but it costs $20, $30, $40 depending on who you're doing it with. Sometimes it's free, depending on your banking relationship. Sometimes it's it's usually under $40 to wire money through a bank to another bank account. So that works. Could you save the $40? Probably. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Like, where does this all fall on the spectrum? CBDCs scare me to death. Why? They're going to go in a wallet. They're going to be wholly owned by the government that issues them. I don't know. Something about it bothers me. It's hard to say. The Chinese yuan, the digital yuan, which is 1 for 1 a yuan, goes in a wallet on a Chinese blockchain. Can they take them back? Can they cancel them? Can they burn them? Can they take them from you if they want to tax you? All those things are possible. The question is, will the rule of law allow it or prevent it? I can't speak for Chinese regulations. In the United States, one would assume the rule of law would prevent that. CBDCs scare me, and I'm going to be fascinated to see how they're used, how they're applied, and then how will consumers adopt them? Like, what's the consumer adoption going to be? I can imagine immediately getting a separate wallet for my CBDCs, my central bank digital currency, and using it judiciously. Is it something that I'm going to use like I use green dollar bills in the real world? That's a great question, and I don't have a great answer for that. I really don't. Don't forget to tweet. I'm trying my tweet experiment. You're tweeting now. I just put the Twitter handle back up at Shelly Palmer. What else do we have here? So this is an interesting question from Frank Q. Hold on, let's add this guy here. What do you think of the Senate plan to have the CFTC oversee Bitcoin and Ether? So, Frank Quince, this is what's interesting to me there. Oh, I gotta put my Twitter handle back up. For the SEC to regulate it, it would need to come under the Howey test, at which right now most cryptocurrencies, and certainly almost every NFT, that standard's not met, so they're not securities. And the burden would be on the Securities and Exchange Commission to prove they are. The CFTC, looking at Bitcoin, I don't know how Bitcoin is a commodity, but it may be more of a commodity than ETH. This is why everybody needs to get involved. And I think it's important. I think it's very important for each and every one of us to get a little educated about this. We've never needed to be educated about this. Never. And why do you need to know about monetary policy? It's money. You get paid at the end of the week. Every 2 weeks, you spend your money on what you spend your money on. You worry about inflation because your money is worth less or more, depending on the rate of inflation. You don't really think about exchanging your money for other money until you're traveling overseas. So do you really super care, unless you're in the import-export business, do you super care about the value of the dollar against the euro or the yen or something else? And the answer is you do, because it has some implications on the general economy. There's nothing you can do about it, so other than know about it and hedge against it by either buying futures against the dollar futures or oil futures or some commodity futures to help sort of levelize the cost of the commodities that you need to run your business, gasoline being probably the most obvious, or heating oil for your home. Sometimes people buy futures there. Sometimes the oil company that you work with will let you buy, like the winter contract. If you give them money now, it's the equivalent of a futures contract. So other than that, most of us don't have any need to know that much about it. And to be fair and frank, I didn't know that much about it until I started to get deep into cryptocurrency right around 2009. And all of a sudden it occurred to me, this is world changing, and I don't know enough to understand how it's going to change the world. Like, I literally don't know enough. So I think it's important for all of us to follow this closely and to understand where this may go, and to at least have some probable futures laid out so we have a good understanding of what we should be doing and how to hedge for the future, or even just plan for the future. Forget hedging for the future, just plan for the future. Are these things going to be regulated? And if so, what's that going to look like? Are they likely to be unregulated? And so what does that look like? And what can we do from a business perspective? Where can we play safely, and where should we be not a fast follower and not a leader? Maybe, you want to be a late adopter in some cases. In other cases, you want to be a fast follower. These are all decisions you make as a business person. I think the NFT stuff is more like storytelling and marketing. There's new data collection. I think it's really easy to get deep into NFTs right now and learn about them. And not to put too fine a point on it, I have this slide available every single time I do any kind of speech or thing. This is the slide. One of these is not an NFT. Right, on the right's a Bored Ape, on the left is an ERC 721 Solidity contract, the Ethereum virtual machine compatible smart contract that shows ownership of the Bored Ape, which is just a JPEG on the right. So that's what you need to learn to use. You don't need to learn to use the other. You need to learn to go deep into the NFTs. Will they get regulated? That's not going to be a problem for you right now. You're going to learn as a marketer to tell stories. You're going to learn as a business person to create quests and games and new user experiences, and you'll be able to think about what this bridge between the digital and physical world are that we talked about with Tiffany's early on today. A cryptocurrency thing is a whole other level, and it's a whole other level because it has more to do with the exchange of value in a fungible world than it does in a non-fungible world. Remember, the fungibility of cryptocurrency is what makes the government interested in it, right? It's just a way to move stuff or value around. An NFT is non-fungible, meaning that in practice, it's supposed to represent a unique asset, digital or physical. And so while certain transactions are regulated, there's plenty of regulations around selling a house, there's plenty of regulations around selling a car, there may be plenty of regulations ultimately about selling an NFT, but they're really different than the regulations about buying and selling stocks and moving money around in a money market. They have nothing to do with the way they have a tiny amount to do with the IRS and the local tax, state tax or local taxes involved. But if you on balance look at those two sets of regulations, the SEC imposes a far stricter set of rules that are far more detailed and more vast and more usurious, to be honest. And they're there to protect people from all kinds of bad things. The fungible laws are laws and regulations and tax laws in and around movement of assets. So again, good to get involved, good to understand, good to get deep into this, and I would hope everyone would do that. I would not be doing my job. I didn't tell you that while we are able to live in a wonderful environment where there is no one rolling a tank down the street, as I look up in the air, I do not see missiles coming to blow up the home I live in or the homes of my friends and loved ones or the businesses around me. People in the Ukraine every single day do not wake up in that situation. These guys are waking up every day, and there are, in fact, tanks rolling down the street and missiles in the air and bombs falling out of the sky. If you can, I would beg you to donate generously. This site at shellypalmer.com/Ukraine, as you all know, goes to a Today Show site where the social responsibility group at NBC Universal has vetted a bunch of charities where your dollars will go directly to where they need to go. If you could find it in your heart to help these people, I would hope that if we were under attack, somebody would be helping us. So I hope you will. It's not in the news every day like it was, but it's still going on every single day. I have friends who are deeply dedicated to helping. Look, we got wildfires here. There's terrible disasters everywhere. I'm not saying this over anything else, but we are very lucky to live in a place where what's happening to them is not happening to us. With that, I will, as I always do, thank you so very, very much for being with me today. I love doing crypto, and I love doing NFTs, and I especially love Web3 Wednesday. Thank you all for being here. I will be here next week, 12:15. I hope that you will join me, and I look forward to seeing you then. Everybody, please take care.